Welcome to Waypoint of View. We're Jess and Myles, and we're nearly 2 years into our journey around the world. After an incredible experience in the Caucasus, we have made our way to Croatia, where we're starting a road trip through the Balkans. We are here in Croatia. We flew into Zagreb a few days ago and explored the capital city before picking up a rental car for our third road trip in a row.
Over the next several weeks, we plan to explore Eastern Europe, and we're getting started here on the Istrian Peninsula in the far northwest of Croatia.
We are so excited to be in this area. There are two very distinct parts of Istria. Blue Istria along the coast, where you'll find colorful seaside towns and marinas and beautiful beaches. But we are starting inland first in what's known as Green Istria, which is full of vineyards and olive trees and medieval hilltop villages.
We are here in Motovan, which is a perfect example of one of the picturesque hilltop villages here in Green Istria. This is the first stop on our road trip, and we actually got here yesterday and explored the town a little bit and had a great sunset picnic.
Istria is well known for having some of the highest quality truffles in the world. So naturally, I plan to eat some kind of truffle dish for every meal while we're here. And we have something extra fun and exciting planned for this morning. We are going truffle hunting.
We have just come about 10 minutes to the village of Levade to meet with our truffle hunter Nikolai and his two very talented dogs, and we're about to head out into the forest. We have come out to the Motovan forest and we're just following the dogs as they search for the truffles. We're here in June, so it's summer black truffle season, and that's what we're looking for.
How many days a week do you go out truffle hunting with them?
Each day.
Every day?
Every day?
You get one?
Some small.
We spent about an hour out in the forest and we were able to find some truffles, but not the valuable kind you can sell, but it was still really cool to see the dogs at work. And now we're just gonna drive around to some of the other hilltop villages before we make our way out to the coast.
We have stopped at a few of these hilltop villages, and it is so fun just wandering through these cobblestone streets and seeing all of the old stone buildings. We've just come to Zagreb, which might be my favorite so far. It's mostly abandoned, so it's really quiet and overgrown, and it just has a really cool feel to it.
It has been a fun morning just driving around Green Istria, but it's time to start making our way out to the coast. We have officially made it out to the coast. We are here in Porridge.
We stopped on the way out here to have a quick lunch, and now we're just gonna wander around a little bit and maybe get some ice cream.
We have made it to Rovine, which is probably one of the most popular towns in the entire Istrian Peninsula. We really enjoyed our time inland, but we're excited to be out on the coast. We're going to be staying here for the next couple of nights, exploring Blue Istria.
It is a beautiful morning here in Rovine. It's about 9 o'clock and we are just wandering around the old town.
I can definitely see why this is a favorite here in Istria. The old town sits out on this peninsula with a really cool harbor, and it is full of colorful buildings.
There are tons of boat tours that leave from the harbor, and we have rented a kayak to get out on the water later this afternoon.
Not a bad place for lunch.
We have the perfect view of the old town from here. It's been a great day so far, and it is time to get out on the water. It's about 1:30 and we are heading to pick up our kayak. There's actually a couple of islands nearby that we're hoping to check out. We brought our masks in case we want to go swimming, but there are a lot of jellyfish everywhere. There they are! We're not entirely sure if they have stingers or not, but we're not willing to try and find out. They don't have any little hangy tentacles, but I'm no expert in the field of jellyfish, so.
I got one.
Boop. To the island! So Miles, what do you think about the Adriatic Sea?
The Adriatic Sea is beautiful, completely clear. There's a lot of jellyfish, which I think is just unfortunate timing for us. Do you want to paddle to Venice? We're not that far.
We don't have our passports.
Ooh. Do you need a passport to go from one European country?
Now you do.
And a COVID test.
Yeah.
So much for that idea. It's only like, I don't know, less than 100 miles.
Oh, then no, we are not prepared for that. I don't even have any snacks.
This is a really cool lighthouse. Definitely worth the trip out here.
Love a lighthouse.
We made it. So we're headed to have a picnic, but we have this kind of crazy last minute idea of trying to find someone who will let us take one of those really small old wooden rowboats out into the harbor so that we could have our picnic relatively privately. We have no idea if it's going to work. We have very low confidence that it would work, actually. What would you say the likelihood of this actually working was when we first left our place?
About 5%.
What would you say the likelihood of this actually working now that we have a boat? 10%?
Maybe 15.
We tied off on this mooring ball, and we have the best view in all of Rovine. If we would have actually thought this was going to work, we probably would have cut the cheese before getting out on the boat. So last night we were watching a beautiful sunset out on the pier, and naturally we were not alone. And we had plans of trying to do a picnic tonight. And so we thought, how could we find a place that's a little bit more private, but still has this incredible view of Ravine? And we had been walking around the harbor and seen all of these small little dinghy boats and thought maybe we could get somebody to let us borrow their dinghy just to go out into the harbor for our picnic.
I never in a million years thought that, one, we'd be able to find somebody.
For sure not.
And two, that they'd actually agree to it. So we had a backup picnic spot on land, but before we were leaving this afternoon, Myles said, let's just walk around the harbor and see if we can find anybody.
Why not?
So we did, and we were unsuccessful, and then we were heading back this way to go to our picnic spot, and we see this guy rowing this boat to shore. And so
Jess just took off. She was like, that's our guy.
So we get up to him. He had
As he's walking away.
Yeah, he had just tied up the boat. He's walking away, and Myles asks, is that your boat? And he said, yeah, but it's just the boat that I take to get to the bigger boat. They actually ended up offering that we could have our picnic on their sailboat.
They're like, it's got a table. Why would you do that on the dinghy? Just go to the sailboat. It's right there. No, this was our plan.
This is what we wanted.
This is what we want. They just shook their head and let us take their dinghy.
Oh, we actually even offered to pay them. And they were like, no cost.
Oh. It was pretty stressful getting out here, but now that we're tied off on one of the mooring balls, it's still pretty rocky, but we've got it set up. This is pretty nice. Never gonna forget that little boat.
Today is our last day on the Istrian Peninsula, and we have come south to Pula, which is famous for having some very well-preserved Roman ruins.
And we're getting started here at the arena, which is one of the most well-preserved Roman amphitheaters in the world. There are over 200 amphitheaters still in existence, and this is actually the 6th largest and was able to hold over 20,000 people back in the day.
It sits just right here on the waterfront, and it's actually still used today for different festivals and events.
There's definitely more to Pula than just the arena, and we're walking around the old town now, headed to the Forum before we start making our way off the peninsula.
We're taking the long way off the peninsula, and we have come to our final stop in the seaside town of Rabat.
We have really enjoyed our time here in Istria, both inland and along the coast, and we cannot wait to see what else Croatia has in store for us.
So the biggest thing that we miss traveling long term, outside of our family and friends of course, is Mexican food. And we found salsa. It's not good. It's not good at all. That's salsa.
Oh man.
Why is it sweet?
It's so sweet. It was worth a shot. My backpack is so heavy that the car thinks there is an unseat belted passenger in the back seat of this car.
Aye aye, sailor!
Ahoy.
Ahoy!
It's aye aye, captain.
Ahoy, fellow sailors!